Let's try knight f3. Knight f3, knight c6. Shall I go with the... Well, the Reti setup would be with g3. Maybe someone who plays knight c6 against everything. Okay, this sort of prevents the double fianchetto, which is one of the setups you might get to with a Reti. But I can go ahead and put a pawn up there. Just try and control the light squares along this diagonal. Put a knight up behind the pawn. So we got a lot of force on that square potentially. This bishop is shielded by the knight. So I can always play d4 and get into more of a regular game where it's King's Indian defense, where he's played knight c6. Bit of a rare move. I'm wondering, maybe I just keep the knight out of this square. Put my queen here. And push the b pawn forward and chase that knight away. Okay, he's looking to blockade here, or maybe push my pieces away. Let's blockade. So my bishop is shut in, but so is his. So it's like a move that makes both our bishops bad. Let's kick that bishop immediately. I don't want it to get comfortable there. Force it to either trade itself off or go back. Yeah, and then step up with the king to keep this pawn defended here. So that move is no longer effective. And let's develop my bishop. Okay, I don't believe I have to worry about this one just yet. I can always just take it. If he plays h4, I mean. I can jump in here with the king if I want to. I can, I'm sorry, I can jump in here with the knight and check the king if I want to, but does that really accomplish anything? Let's get the rook to the c file. Maybe I will just go ahead and play my knight up to my knight up to d5. Why not? It's a good square. He hasn't done anything to stop me from getting there. If I were to chase this knight away, then I could play the check here, the king goes back, and the check here. That would be nice. But a bit of wishful thinking at this point. The king goes to this square, see, and then they're in a nice forking position, guarded by this knight. So that's why chasing this knight away is important. But he's not allowing that, so we're going this way. We're opening up the c file here. Okay, let's see. I go here with check. The king goes back. I bring the queen out, hitting this pawn. He moves it forward. So it doesn't really help my cause here. Although does mean I could hop my knight in here at the cost of a pawn. If there were a way to have my queen already on this file, that would be cool, but I don't see it. Okay, he decided to save his pawn by pushing it. Now I've got a loose pawn here. Let's go ahead and push this forward, kind of clamp down on his C pawn. Now knight here, check once again. King goes back. I take. Yeah, the queen can look at this pawn from this side. Okay, he just wants to trade off his bishop. I'll take it. Now, if I trade queens, doesn't seem to do a lot. Let's drop back. Thinking of bringing my queen to the dark squares here, yeah. Maybe play f4. I think I can play f4 anyway, right? I take, he takes, I take, he takes, I take. And the H file is still secure. If he doesn't take, I'll take. So he pushes. So I will push, I guess. Should I kick the queen first or take? That's the question. But first we'll push. Keep the tension over here. Keep the tension on the F file while closing up the H file. You might need to sacrifice a piece here to break through, or here. But I think it's to my advantage to start taking stuff now rather than pushing. His king is exposed. Just got to get stuff on the diagonal. He helps me out by taking already. Yeah. If I only had my bishop over here instead of over here, that would be nice. Okay, so he gave up this pawn in order to win. Or take my bishop. Okay, I think I take Queen or rook? I guess queen, because then I'm hitting this pawn, huh? And push here and bring the bishop out. He wants to just trade everything off. Okay. Opposite colored bishops. This may end up being a draw, huh? We will try and keep the bishops on. Let's bring the king in. Okay. Looks like he wants to get his rook there. I see. He wants to prevent my king from going there. Anyway, this is well enough defended. Let's go ahead and take care of this rook. I go here, he takes, I take, then he takes this pawn. How annoying is that? Okay, so let's activate this bishop here. Yeah, looks like he's going for the draw. Have to defend this pawn here before he gets to it. He ran out of time. This is a dead draw. He should have just shuffled his pieces. Let's go to the analysis board. It's too bad. I don't know if I ever had an advantage, but this is certainly a draw. Let's see. If we back up a bit, here I had an extra pawn around here, but it's still a draw. We back up to a random place here. Here I had an advantage, so let's see where I give my advantage away. Okay, trading queens was the wrong idea. It's better just to keep the queens on. Yeah, my pieces are just better placed. His rook is behind his king. But this should not have lost the game, so trading queens and going there was not best. What's best? D4 immediately. Yeah, gotta kind of bust up the center a little bit. take advantage of this here. If he takes, then I can play check first. Oh wow, this is a mate here. There's a forced mate here. I thought there was going to be some tactic winning the rook in the corner, but there's just a forced mate here. Oh my. Well, you got to be a computer to see that. Is there some other move here that's not a forced mate? So he can't take it because opening things up leaves him with the mate, huh? Yeah, mate in 12 after the take. So if he doesn't take, let's see, if I don't go for the mate, what would that be? What I should play b5 or rook f5. Check. If the king moves, it's mate again. So he has to take it. And then I stop the pawn just in time. Well, I don't know. I'm not a computer. I couldn't see those kind of winning lines. Pretty interesting position, I guess. Here, let's see if we can get a rapid game. Okay, time for d5. I'll play this line, the Marshall line in the Scandinavian. You round up the pawn with your knight. There are some lines that white can play. I think the trickiest one is the bishop here, check. You block and then the bishop retreats and then you're maybe slightly awkwardly placed here. But this way of playing is fine. So I'm going to go with the fianchetto, the dark squared bishop here, and get castled. This way of playing is fine for both sides. White gets that pawn in the center, easy development, but black gets development too, so. Should be okay. Okay, so now he's chasing my knight back. And knight can go in either direction. It could go back here, or it could go here and gain a tempo on the bishop. I believe usually this move is recommended. It's not always easy for me to see why, because even though you're gaining a tempo momentarily, this knight might be displaced here, but it is still influencing the center. Yeah, I don't think that was particularly good. Normally, they just retreat the bishop to this square, and it's on a good diagonal here. Okay, and then I'll get castled. And now we are out of the opening, so I should take a deep breath and not move. It's not a blitz game, not move so fast. So this pawn here is maybe a bit weak. Not because it's isolated, but because this knight is here, so it can't be defended with a pawn easily. So maybe there's some play against it. It's currently attacked twice and defended twice. I should get my knight in the game, though. I think that's the top priority here. I didn't see any easy way to exploit that position of that pawn. So, you know, if I put my knight here and then blockade here, he can trade. And then push the c-pawn forward to chase my knight away. So I can't really set up a blockade on that pawn very easily. But getting this knight over to the king side, I think, is good anyway. I guess what I should do is if I put the knight here and he takes, I take back with a pawn, and we'd have a symmetric kind of pawn structure, but with I would have a king side majority and he would have the queen side majority. So I guess if I were to do that, I should do it now. And then, because I was having trouble figuring out where to put this bishop. But the bishop could come out along this diagonal if we get that exchange as I was imagining. Okay, I'm going to kick this bishop and see if it really wants to take my knight. Do you really want to take it? Seems serious. Okay, so knight here, he would just take it. If I take his knight first, he takes back with the pawn, then I could put my knight here. I could kick his bishop first, and the knight here would be hitting the pawn and hitting the bishop. Let's try this. Okay, just take this knight off. He's got to take with the pawn. And then I get access to this square. Actually, this pawn is hard to defend, isn't it? He could move it forward. He could move it forward. And then I have a choice of whether I want to fork the queen and the light squared bishop or just take the dark squared bishop. I think I want to take the dark squared bishop because I would like to, well, it's pretty much the only choice left to me now anyway. But yeah, I was looking at putting my queen on this c7 square. Queen on c7. And develop my light squared bishop. Let's see, if I went b6, or yeah, b6 and a5, and then bishop a6. I guess that would just be a trade. The original reason I thought of for putting it here was so I could play here, and he could push this pawn forward instead of taking. See, if I pushed it forward and he took and I took, then he's got this isolated doubled pawn here, which is not great. Maybe, yeah, maybe the queen should have gone to this square. Okay, he's got a place for his knight now. Just looking at this square. So if I put my bishop here, it's adding another defender to f7, It's helping to control d5. He could still push c5, though. That would be c4, rather. Well, then I could bring my rook over. I think I like this, and then bring a rook to the d file. Then I push the c pawn. If he takes, yeah, he's definitely thinking of piling up over here. So rook here. Bishop takes, rook takes, queen takes, pawn takes, rook takes, pawn takes. I think it's all just even. So I get a knight. He gets a bishop. I get a rook. He gets a queen. I get a queen. He gets a rook. Yeah, all even. And straightened out his pawns. So I guess it's not so great. I was expecting him to almost reflexively, just pile up on the F file there. It leaves this under defended, I guess. Yeah, the rook is needed to defend this. Okay, so now he is not yet threatening this. It's like 1, 2, 3 versus 1, 2, 3. Bishop takes, knight takes, rook takes, queen takes, king takes. But if he brings the rook over, then I'll just take the knight. So that was my escape plan. If he pushes the pawn forward, I can take it because I have the rook here now. That was part of that idea. So he just retreated. So I was thinking I could put my queen on c3 here. Hit the pawn. Keep pressure on the knight. So he just defends. So I take, he can take with the rook. If I put my rook here, it's yeah, once again threatening to win a pawn over here. Although he can grab a pawn over here, I guess. At the end of that, bishop takes, rook takes, pawn takes, queen takes, queen takes. And I got a check. Or a check. The queen is on this diagonal. Need to get the bishop on that diagonal. So he wants to chase my queen away. I like this diagonal though. Let's keep it. Yeah, it seems like he's playing a pretty good game. He's thinking about his moves, making his plans. But now, isn't he in a pickle? I'm threatening to take the knight. And that pawn. So I take, he takes, I take, he takes, I take, right? Well, as I said, the queen can grab here, but I'm getting rid of that uncomfortable center pawn there. And I also have a check on the back rank that might be useful. If he, for example, tries to harass my queen. And I stop to think here. He's got to take. I don't see any intermediate moves, right? If he attacks my queen, I just check and then escape. So let's take first. He can grab this pawn, as I said. Ah, he can't. He can't grab that pawn because this check is mate. Am I not right? The king has nowhere to run and the queen can't interpose. So I think I got him. All right, interesting game. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this session, and I will see you next time. Bye now.